one of the best advice I was ever given was choose you. Right? That was after being stuck for far too long on some man that was just obviously not ready for me, and feeling really of pain, yeah, upset about it, as you probably experienced sometime in your life, feeling unloved and rejected and all that goes with it. And I was reminded that instead of choosing another and just being so focused or obsessed with another, to choose me. And yeah, that was really one of the best advice, and something I just share with women all the time. This is what we have to do, especially for those of you who are still waiting for your Mr. Right, for your high quality man. I would say definitely choose you. It's in being you at your happiest, at your fullest, taking care of you, being your own rescue by fully being you, that you become pretty much irresistible to a man. Because at the same time, you can see that you're not this kind of high maintenance kind of woman emotionally and stuff that they're just so scared of not being able to handle. Why a lot of men find it hard to commit is because they just, trying to find a way out, like it's going to be a bit too much for them, right? But now, if you as a woman stand very differently, right? And I think ultimately what a man looks for in a woman, I mean, maybe not even consciously, it's a woman he can trust. A woman that inspires him, right? And often, as women, we just kind of look for them for inspiration, or for them for the answer, or for them to make it happen for us, right? And this is where there's a kind of imbalance. Especially nowadays, I think, relationship really have to come from a place of partnerships and equality and, building each other up, rising in love instead of being at each other's throats and all the kind of stuff that can happen in some relationships. And this is where, as women, we shouldn't have to beg anyone or beg anybody or convince anyone to be with us or to, this is it. We have to forget about Prince Charming, as we say, and really just come as a queen, right? If you stand as a queen, your king will soon come. It's just natural, right? It's, if as women, we want high quality men that gonna be there for us and, really solidly and committedly, we really need to give ourselves that in some ways and, become the inspiration for them to do that. And not sell ourselves out, not be so desperate to have a man in our lives, That's can lead us to not make the best choices in the long run. That can lead us to act too quickly. And with all the consequences that come with that. I don't really need to go into all of this now. You just, you just need to look at women around yourself. It doesn't even matter where you live. It's, we need to really trust ourselves. We trusting what we feel. And we don't do enough of that. Again, going back to this self-doubt. This is why we need to meditate, I think. That's really helps to sharpen our intuition intuition was a given to us, you know. But how often do you actually act on your intuition, trust what you feel? You know, I've seen so many sisters, women, you know, trusting more what others tell them, especially men, than their own feeling about the situation. And this is a downfall, really, you know. I always say, you know, words are great, you know. You can tell me you love me all day, but I want to see it, I want to feel it. And that's only through actions, you know. Once again, we're saying intentions are great, you know, talking about things. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but until you actually do it, you know. So same, you know, we need to really trust what we feel, and that means, you know, we may have to, you know, release our self-doubt and sharpen our senses in many ways, and so we can act on that, you know. We're very attuned to this, you know, yet we don't trust what we're feeling, what we're thinking, and that's a problem. I mean, I know I wouldn't be where I am today and living the life I live if I didn't act on what I felt, and if I didn't trust that. Yeah. And the other side to this is then using your voice to speak your truth, right? That's just essential. And again, where we trip ourselves so many times. A lot of what happens to us wouldn't happen if we spoke what we felt at the time, you know? And this is where learning about communication, and what I mean about this, you know, again, there are meditation that you can do just to develop your communication. To, you know, we do meditation where we use mantra and we're chanting and stuff, right? It might sound weird to some, but it works because we've got what we call the fish chakra there, which is totally linked to speaking our truths and self-expression. And sometimes, you know, again, because it's an energy center, it's been, you know, probably unbalanced, you know, blocked, you know, stifled in a way. You know, this is what we mean by losing our voice. And that stops us to, I mean, to get what we want, that can even, you know, make us sick, really. You know, any issues around there, you know straight away. You know, thyroid issue, all of this, and this is a major gland in the body, right? It's a clue before you have it removed. Ask yourself, you know, where am I not speaking my truth? What do I need to say? This is just simple ways that we can change our condition. So going back to, you know, our voice and communication. The problem, you know, is that most people do not say what they mean, right? Or they don't, there's a split, you know, that then creates an inner conflict, right, between what you feel and what you're actually saying. And this is, what would you say? This is something we do to ourselves. And why? Again, fear. Fear of what will happen once you've spoken your truth. How would that be received? You know, would you still be liked or whatever? But I mean, come on. When you speak your truth, it becomes a win-win for everybody. Whatever is to happen will happen much quicker, actually, because it's as it is. You know, and as I was saying, time goes fast and you can't afford to waste time, and especially in situations which are not good for you and are just sucking out your life force day by day and depressing you and all of this. You know, we need to be brave, we need to be courageous, we need to be fearless. And yeah, really. And plus, you know, when you speak your truth, a couple of things can happen, right? Imagine you're in a relationship with a man, right? And you've picked up on something that you don't necessarily appreciate about some behavior. So you can keep it in and, no, you can't, because that's just not serving you at all. But anyway, you tell him, right? Honestly, how you feeling? Maybe something simple like he said he was going to call and he didn't, right? And you were there waiting for the call. You were just ready, maybe even worse. You were supposed to go out, right? And he didn't even call to say it's not on and stuff. And so you got yourself ready, you're dressed up and stuff, and nothing, right? So what do you do now, right? You just have to let him know without, losing your grace and using bad words or whatever. You just let him know very clearly that you didn't appreciate that. Your time is precious. You don't have time to waste. So that's it, pretty much. If it's a kind of a new one on the scene, you can very much see very quickly that you don't have time to waste on that, right? But often, a lot of women would just, I don't know, for some reason, just try and, try again and call him and just leave that alone. He's obviously not respectful of your time, of who you are. Obviously can't communicate. Why would you persevere with that? It's the same, men who are not available. Oh gosh, save yourself some time and, and more than that, right? And self-respect even. Leave that alone. That's not for you. Women who fight with other women of our man. This is it's insane. Why would you do that? Right? So that's all the way that we just, invite drama and craziness into our lives, right? When if you just trust it that, that special person, that man that you wish to build your future with and maybe have children with and all of that, right? It will come. But just know that you need to be at your best if you want to attract a man that is that too, right? Because again, we're talking about energy, right? And it's all about vibrations and, what we attract. So it's like if we want a man we can trust, that's going to be committed, that's going to be present, that's going to be whatever else you want him to be, we have to cultivate those qualities within ourselves, right? Otherwise, how could that possibly happen? And that's the truth, that's the reality of it, And we need to be honest and speak our truths. And often, for some women, they're so scared of being alone that they just put up with so much nonsense. It's insane. And the problem with that is that it affects their health, it affects their creativity, it affects everything in their life. And if they have children, well, it will of course affect their children. And this is just something we can avoid, right? By just paying attention, being more self-aware, taking care of ourselves, and speaking our truths and trusting that, and I think being more patient, right? It's like, just knowing that everything at this time, everything has its right to be, that there is somebody out there for you. But as long as you're putting up with something that's not that great, right? Or even staying with somebody that deep down is just not really appreciating you, or just not being kind and loving, or simply human to you, right? I think, if there is no space for the two of you to be human, well, there shouldn't be a space for that relationship, right? No one's perfect, we all come with our stuff, but I think this is it. We have a responsibility to ourselves and others to try to do as much as we can to just heal that, mend that. And we can. This is it. We can. It's not, well, this is the way it is. But I think the further we get into life, the more we've convinced ourselves that's the way it is, and that's what's sad, because it's not. You know, every moment we've got a chance, a choice to feel differently, to think differently, to act differently. And I'm just going to finish here. I would say the link and the thing that you need to, a great tool to help you do that is the breath. And this is why, you know, yogis have understood for a long time. And this is why yoga is becoming more and more popular all over the world. Because that's our link, that's our way to change the way we feel, to reconnect ourselves, to even heal ourselves through moving energy and prana in our bodies. So, yeah, just breathe, you know, simple exercise. One last thing, left nostril breathing. So meaning you block your right nostril and you just breathe in and out through the left. Will have a calming effect. So anyone, if yourself or anyone you know is suffering from high blood pressure, or anxiety, that's one to do. You know, give yourself, I would say 11 minutes, that's a great number, but you know, 5 minutes will do, and just be consistent with it, and you'll be amazed to the way you feel, right? And the reverse is also true when we breathe through the right nostril, so that means we block the left, breathing in and out slowly through the right. This has more an energizing pick-me-up effect. So, you know, in those moments when you feel a bit tired, drained, but you still have to function, this is something you can, you know, give yourself 3 minutes of right nostril breathing, and you just start to feel differently and more together. And those are little tips, little things that you can give yourself just to help yourself throughout the day, you know. Remember your breath, that's a connection to yourself, and you'll be fine, you have no problem. So, thank you.